official welcome everyone to today's SAP Community Call. My name is Lena. I'm part of the SAP Community and Influencers team and your technical host for the session today on the topic Field Service Management Solutions from SAP. And you're here today to learn more about Field Service Management Solutions from SAP and how it provides new and enhanced service offers and capabilities really to ultimately help our end customers to achieve better business results and improve sustainability. We're here today joined by Friederike Mund, who is our SAP Solution Manager in the area of Field Service Management Solutions. And I'm happy to have her as an expert. She is with SAP for more than 10 years. And you guys now have today the opportunity to really address any questions that you have, because she saved time towards the end of this call. After her presentation, we have 15 minutes roughly to address any questions when it comes to field service management solutions from SAP. Some housekeeping rules really. So I saw that you all already used the chat a little, and I wanted to start using the chat really to sharing insights, to sharing where everyone's from, but also to share your SAP community profiles. And I'll start with Friederike's. So everyone should now follow Friederike here in SAP Community. I'll post mine as well, and I'll encourage everyone to post their community profiles here in the chat. That's really the chat functionality. And if you have questions, there is the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen where you can address those questions. That will be easier after our presentation to address those questions live, and there's also voting enabled. This is a recorded session, as I mentioned briefly before, and it will be put on our YouTube channel for everyone to share with colleagues, friends, and family, and to rewatch when there should be questions afterwards. I'll hand over to you now, Friederike. Thank you for joining us today. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction. So I can jump directly in. So I'm happy to present you here today a little bit more about the general field service management solutions. And just to the a little disclaimer, there's a few points that might be future oriented in this presentation. So we don't take any, there's risks that things will change. Anything in the future can change. So we need to do caution here. Regarding the agenda, I will give a little bit overview about the dynamics, challenges and trends for field service providers. And also the opportunities they can grow. Then also what is field service management solutions from SAP with a little outside view or definition from analysts, then the end-to-end field service process as we see it, and the SAP Product Demo, so where I show how the solution can look like in different SAP products. And last but not least, I also will show some customer values and references that we have seen with customers using field service management solutions. So what are the dynamics? In general, I mean, we still see the digital transformation. It's something that's going on for a long time, but it's also accelerating, especially in the last 2 years. Many companies who maybe didn't think it was needed, they could still work with paper. In the last 2 years, they realized how important it is to be digital, to have everything, all the information available. And especially also in the field service, you cannot always go, you need to look more on remotely, so it's really becoming faster, the transformation. Then the same time with the digital transformation, there's also more opportunities for different business models. So the existing business models, they are being challenged, and new business models arise, and really to be competitive in the market, you need to also follow these trends and get into it. Then every company now, you see it on almost every big company's profile about sustainability. It's really gaining importance, like to also show how sustainable or what companies do to be sustainable. And there's a big ask for that. And last but not least, customer expectation is still rising, continues to rise. That's really with the technology, everything became easy and everything is fast and reachable, and this is still expected. So you don't want to wait for your delivery, you expect everything to be fast and easy. So it's still rising every day, every year. What do we see as the main trend? So we see that manufacturers who are producing products or assets, like valuable assets, they are not anymore just selling the assets to the customer and just making money out of spare parts and expensive, maybe some repair or replacing them as quickly as possible, but they're actually going into new business models where they own the assets themselves, and instead of selling the assets or the equipment, they are selling the outcome. So they promise to deliver performance and purpose, and this really changes a lot. It also brings, again, more challenges, but it also helps them to generate new revenue streams from services. So one thing we see here is, like, it strengthens the existing service business, because I mean, if you have the machines running, you still own them. You are sharing also responsibility. You want them to run profitable. You are very interested in the end customer's outcome, that they are profitable, so they pay you for the outcome. Then as well, this also improves the service profitability. So you can really with new revenue streams in service become more profitable. All of this is based on servitization or outcome-based business models. A little bit more details to this later on, what exactly that means. And as I mentioned, owning the equipment and running it for the end customer, it's a shared responsibility for the overall equipment effectiveness. So everybody is interested to have the equipment running as fast as possible on the highest possible outcome. All this, it helps, or what is one factor, what is really helping to achieve this is to connect these products. So to have them all connected to IoT, to have them monitored, to have all the data available, like to predict if something happens before it happens. So you would have smart and connected products. And what you offer to the customer is it's called AAS, so everything as a service. So instead of just, again, selling something and going away, you just provide service. So everything, the product, the parts, everything becomes service. And all of these factors, the optimization of the equipment, like having them run smoother, having them break down less, it goes into like using less material as well. So you don't have so many spare parts, you don't throw away equipment that if you can still use them, you rather make sure that they are very stable and that they run for many, many years. As well, improving the service, you make sure that you optimize the service. You don't spend much time on just traveling around, and you also do, like with remote monitoring and smart connected products, you have you avoid traveling, you avoid sending people all around the world to the end customers, and this really helps also to improve sustainability. And in a measurable way. We have seen really customers that put on their websites like how they improve sustainability, and one way is by making sure to avoid traveling of their technicians, also making sure that equipment are running longer and last longer. So all of this is really the overall goal is here to have higher profit margins and also increased customer intimacy, to be closer to the customers. So here's some samples for the trends to servitization. So what does it mean? And I think the easiest to understand what is servitization is to look at some samples that you probably have heard about already. So in the automotive, it's even more and more offers are coming where you don't buy the car, but you actually by mobility. So you get an offer where you can say, I want this kind of yearly pass, and I can use the car, I can use the train, public transportation. So it's a combination, and you only pay for how much you use it. You don't have to invest buying a car and maintaining it, but you just pay for the usage. So that is one of the samples of servitization. The other one is in the manufacturing. So this is also the main focus of our solutions here for heavy machines or valuable assets, where you don't sell the assets anymore, but you deliver, for example, the time of use. So you only charge for how much the product is being used. Another sample is utilities. So again, here's something from your household. You probably have also gotten offers. You don't just pay for the energy anymore from these utilities companies, but they deliver you whole solutions. So with the energy, they also want you to maybe save energy. So maybe they offer you also a newer heating system, and they have other offers around really delivering the whole solution around energy. And another example is also for the engineering and construction. So it's not so much about selling the construction project, but about delivering the buildings as a service. So you get the building, you can use it, and you don't have to think about the construction project. So what does this mean, the servitization? So in general, why is this actually beneficial for the manufacturers? So here you can see the revenue that the manufacturer makes of standard product sales. So it's quite at the bottom. So this is about selling a product. And then if you sell service on top, the more advanced you get and the more you deliver, also the more revenue you also have. So you can see if you just deliver kind of support, if customer has an issue and calls, and you deliver like a repair, you maybe do some maintenance yearly or on a regular basis, you make some money with spare parts, you put some contracts. So the more you deliver up to equipment as a service, the more you can also charge to the customer. So the more revenue you make. And looking at this in comparison to the cost of service, it's not that much a growth. So you can see the more you invest here in these different models, the more you get out of it, and the margin becomes bigger because the cost of service doesn't grow the same way, setting this up. So in general, the end customer and the manufacturer, they share the equipment life cycle cost and also the profitability. So overall, the better you get, the more revenue you can make. Just a quick info now. Why do we call this field service management or field service management solutions from SAP? We have taken here a definition from Gartner, from an analyst, and this is the standard definition for field service management solutions, or what is expected capabilities for field service management solutions. So it's really about managing the demand and customer experience, planning the work, then informing and enabling the technicians, making sure they have the right tools available, and they can also have remote experts available to ask for assistance, and then the debrief or the closing of the work orders, and last not least, very important, is the analytics to be able to analyze the data, and also integration into other systems, ERPs, to have a full flow. So this is the basic definition, but what I find also very interesting, what they define here more for complex service use cases, for mission critical equipment. So this is really about equipment that is used in production lines, or that is, as you can see here, like a windmill or a power station. So that's really expensive and important equipment that needs to run all the time, and it's expensive, and you also have some will to invest in it. And here the functionalities part of the field service management application includes even more. So it's not just about planning and helping the technicians, but it's really also about handling the installed equipment, to manage the maintenance agreements and the maintenance plans, Then warranty and claims management is also a big part of it, and as well reverse logistics or depot repair and equipment supervision. So if you need to bring some parts in to repair them on site and replace them. And it goes even into engineering change requests. So if there is a problem that's being found, that's a very common problem of a specific component that could be avoided if you would engineer it different or design the product differently, the engineering change requests go back there. And then as well, important is the customer, the whole pricing management and the pro forma invoice preparation, so that you can actually also get your money for the service that you deliver. So based on this definition and as well based on what we know from our customers, how they work, we have defined an end-to-end field service management process that starts with the contacting the customer or the engagement to the customer, so selling a service contract and engaging, like having a ticketing or some information available where the customer can contact either with self-service or with an agent center. Then the next thing is to plan and optimize and orchestrate all the work. So here it's different components. On the one side, it's really the asset management, the asset performance and network, to also provide predictive service, so monitoring the assets with IoT to check their health and then also predict if something is needed, some maintenance or some service. And then the standard service planning and operations, making sure that all the spare parts are available, that the job can be done in the range, also according to the contracts. And also very important we see is the collaboration with external service providers. So very often companies don't have technicians or engineers local everywhere in the world, or sometimes not at all. So they would work together with service providers that are in the region, that are local, and that are also expertise on the certain area. And as well important is the training and education, especially if you work with many different external service providers, to make sure that they are trained on your latest products. Then regarding the schedule and execute, so this is all about like optimizing your work and resources to make sure you have all your resources worked, you can do all the jobs, then schedule and dispatch the jobs to the right technicians. So here it's important to have technicians that are available, that are close by, and that have also the skills and requirements that are needed to do the job. And then the supporting of the technicians, so help the technicians to perform the job. And this is usually with mobile applications, often very important offline mobile applications, that they have all the data they need available in their pocket, even in remote connections where they might not have any kind of connection. And as well important is the environmental health and safety. So whenever somebody goes out in the field, in a construction, in some areas it can be very dangerous, to make sure to make the people aware of certain risks, and also allow them to report any kind of risks, and also more from compliance point of view, to make sure that they have checked certain things and they have confirmed that they have checked it. The other important part is really it's about making sure that the spare parts that you need are available, so the logistics around it, sometimes sending the spare parts before ahead to the customer, that they are available when you need to replace something or fix something. Sometimes also making sure the technicians can just pick them up before they go to the customer. So this is really about making also sure that that technicians don't have to go back and forth because they're missing some spare parts to repair the assets. And then again, regarding partners or external service providers, so here it's really like how to give the information to the partners that there is a job, how to collect the information of the status, what they are doing, and making sure that you can inform the customer if needed. And as well, another point that's also very important, especially if you sell a bigger asset, usually the installation of the asset, it's like a project. So that's also important to be able to manage these kind of projects for installation and networks on site. Then last but not least, you also, if you sell service to a customer, you also want to be able to bill them. So touchless billing. And as well, very important here is as well the customer feedback. So you want to increase the customer intimacy. So you need to know also really about what the customer thinks about the service you provide and get the direct feedback. And as well, yeah, making sure that everything can be analyzed for accounting. And also an important point that we see is the identification of cross and upsell opportunities. So this is often even in the execution part where our customers now, they send technicians, they are the trusted advisors for the customers. So they also often know best what the customer needs, maybe from other services or other products, and they can identify those opportunities and then send it back for sales or for a colleague to follow up on it to really find here some new upsell opportunities. And at the bottom, last but not least, very important for field service, as you see here, the process, it's a really end-to-end process, and you really only get the value out of the solution if it's fully integrated, like only really if you have fully integrated spare parts logistics or invoicing, then you get the benefits out of faster invoicing or ensuring the spare parts are available. So that's why the integration is super important, to have all these solutions, specific solutions integrated to fully get the benefit out of it. And as well, important is, as always, we have a standard solution that SAP is offering, but every customer has some very specific requirements. So it's very important to be able to extend this, the solution to adapt it to the specific business processes, and also to automate certain processes that maybe you can define as it's always the same, and then to save time and automate the processes. So these are the like overall processes, and I just show here as well what SAP products are behind that. So for the Sell, Contract, Engage, it's the SAP Service Cloud, where it's the agent console or the ticketing to get the customer requests in. Then for the contract and selling, and also the planning and orchestration, S/4HANA sales and service modules that support these capabilities. For the scheduling and execution, we have SAP Field Service Management that supports the optimization of the work and the support of the technicians on site. And for the invoice and closing, there's SAP S/4HANA, the finance module that helps to prepare the invoices. And at the bottom, to analyze, integrate, and extend, we have SAP Business Technology Platform, and a new application that will be released very soon. I think that it's planned for this month, but again, it's new, so it's subject to change. But this is a new solution, SAP Equipment Services Cockpit, and the idea really here is to bring these existing solutions closer together. So it's an add-on on top of, at the beginning, S/4HANA service, and it will it allows a service planner, a person who is close to the customer and really advises the customer on their equipment, to give them you can also call it Asset 360 view, to give them all the information that they need for the customer assets and get the different information from the different modules, like SAP Field Service Management, SAP Service Cloud for ticketing, and S/4HANA Service for the service orders. So now I want to jump into the product demo. So here's just some parts highlighted that I will show. So I go here, I switch to the presentation. So first of all, I want to show how it can look like for the Sell, Contract, and Engage. So there's different options here. The customer could use a self-service portal to contact the company if there's an issue. What I will show here now is the ticketing. So the scenario is the customer, they are running a wind farm, and usually those windmills, they are very modern modern windmills or turbines, and they're all connected to IoT. But in this case, the customer, they see that there's some strong wind coming up, so he actually goes and checks if there's maybe some risk, and he sees in the monitoring that there's some vibration, and he opens a ticket to send somebody because he really is worried about the weather coming up. So it's kind of an exception where the customer contacted directly. And here you can see the agent console where the agent, the call center agent takes in the ticket. It could be by phone or by email or any other social other channel. They see their tickets. They have some quick links. They see also the teams, like how many tickets they have, and also especially here, like the work that they have to do, what is open in process and completed. So, and now there's this new ticket here coming in, it's being created. And then I can already, as an agent, I can already see the details, timeline, like when this has to be done based on the service contract. And also here some help from a knowledge tool where I can search for articles, or it's suggesting me also some articles depending on the text of the ticket itself, the text in the email or the text that I entered. And here you can see also there's different channels, so I can see the internal communication, the external communication with the customer, if it's via email or SMS. And also here, the interactions, I see it in a bit more condensed view. So if it's a longer issue, it really helps me here also to see what went on in the history. And as well important is here really to prepare that everything is available, to make sure that, let's say I have the customer on the call, that I didn't forget to ask him anything. I have also here the product information where I can see, okay, this is this wind turbine, the serial ID, also the document flow to see, again, if a lot of things happened, to see the history, the different documents, what was updated also in the background. So the next step, I go to another option. So this would be not the customer contacting the company, but it would be via IoT, remote health monitoring. So here we have the equipment view, this wind turbine where we see the monitoring. We can see different alerts that came in also for the vibration. So we have here different warnings. If I scroll a bit down, I can also see here the thresholds that are set. So some of the indicators that they are normal, there's something maybe that needs to be checked. And also I can see this on the timeline again here to evaluate really, is it normal, or where are the peaks in which relationship. And if there is something really like that needs to be acted on, so the IoT then creates notifications. So here are all the notifications that need to be done. So for example, a lot of them have been completed, and there's a new maintenance request that needs to be done. And if the notifications require work, it will create a work order that then can be planned in. So this is just another entry point. Instead of creating the service ticket from the agent center, the IoT would actually automatically create the work order if something has to be fixed. Now the next step would be the service planning and operations. So this is really the ticket now, the service order coming in. Somebody has to do something. Either the IoT told me somebody has to go, or the customer called. And I can see now here the service order that is entered in the system. And I can see the details again, the contract information, like the priority, the values, like how much it costs, and it's very important here that when does it need to be planned. Then it can automatically create items for this type of service. So in this case, for example, it's needed an inspection. So this is a work item. And also usually for this kind of issue that is reported, we need these kind of spare parts. So I can already reserve them to make sure that technicians know that they have taken them. So this is about the spare part logistics, or the spare parts managing. The next step I want to show is about the schedule and execute. So again, here there's different options. You could automatically schedule the work and resources that, especially for maintenance jobs, where it's like regular jobs that it's very easy to define who can do it and that it can be done. This would be fully automated, or you can optimize it based on events. So if something is happening, to optimize the schedule, or you can manually dispatch it. So now in this scenario, the customer called, and it's a very specific and urgent case. So I'm going to go into the manual dispatching. So here you see the planning board or the dispatching board with the different resources, if they're available, if they are online. You can see the work time. So everything in red is kind of weekends or evenings, nights, where people don't work. And you see the assignments. So here the green jobs, they are released to the technicians, or purple is that something has to be changed. And I also see here some reservations, like for example, for an internal project where I cannot plan somebody in. And at the bottom, I see the service order that was created via the ticketing. And now, since this is an urgent request, it just came in, I can manually plan it. I could drag and drop it if I know who could do the job, but I'm using here a little bit of assisted planning with the AI. So I asked the system to find me some technicians. And it actually finds here one technician, Louise. So I'm going to expand this and check if she's available, if she's okay. I see here on the board the availability, and I can assign the activity directly. So it gets assigned to Louise, and I get the confirmation. As well, because I know this is for wind turbines, there's always two have to go to help also to make sure that you don't fall down to secure it. So I add another technician, and I can search them here in the list. And then I see also this technician is also blocked. So last but not least, I just release this so to make sure that the technicians will see the job. Now I just want to show the mobile service execution. So here we have the mobile application of the technician. So the job was just released, and on my home screen, I can see, okay, I have this job, where I have to go. Also, there's some caution, something for me to check, to be careful. And I have here really a guided workflow. So it tells me, okay, the next thing to do is you need to start traveling. And here you see the workflow that it will go through. So I start traveling, and I'm in traveling mode, and now it tells me only the information that I really need. So I need to be there by this time, and I want to see the map, also the address and the contact in case I'm late and I can contact him. And from here I can start the navigation in an external navigation system to make sure that I have really the fastest route at that time that calculates it for me according to the traffic. Back at when I'm at customer side or at the site of the equipment, I go to the next step to work. And here I have these optional or these configurable messages. So this is really like a safety check where I can say, okay, you need, in order to be there, you need to do first these checks. I need to confirm it. And that's really a confirmation, like a digital signature with timestamp and location, if it's enabled, to confirm that I did read this and I'm aware of these issues. Then for the travel time, it will automatically calculate the time you were traveling. So from the moment I started traveling to I stopped, I can adjust this if maybe there's something wrong, or I can just save it and make sure the effort will be saved. And as a next step, I will now work on the job. So here we have checklists or smart forms, which is really a guided way to with instructions for the technician. So I go through these instructions. You can see some of it is already predefined. I see the serial number. I can confirm that I'm at the right wind turbine. Then I enter the date and the inspection scope. And here we have also dynamic visibility. So just in comparison, if you have like in the paper world, you would have a big folder where you have to scroll through to check what you have to do. And here, depending on what type of job I'm doing, it will show me a different amount of chapters. So if I select the full scope, then I see the 5 full chapters I have to go through. And here I have some checks I have to do for environment, health, and safety. Then for the visual inspection, this is really about going through and taking some pictures. So I take some photos of different components. I annotate them to check, to really say, okay, here I see a scratch or a dent or something. And I also give a status update. So if it's okay, if it just maybe it's just a scratch, but it doesn't matter, or if there's some action required or for the next time. I can do as many visual inspections as I want, but just adding here more. The next is also the failure reporting. So here again, this is very guided. I have instructions that are available for the equipment, for the drawings to really see the technical information. I have here an option to create the failures. So this is all with drop down where I have predefined values. So it's also later on for reporting point of view. You don't have like some text that you need to read and analyze to see what are the most common failures, but it's all with predefined values. And then it can also be used, as I mentioned before, for product engineering to improve the product if there are some failures that happen frequently on certain components. Last but not least, I also need to say when I'm finished and sign it. So to confirm that I did it, and if available, if the customer's on site, to also ask for the signature of the customer. And then I can submit this and go to the checkout. So the checkout is really just the closing. Again, I can see here what I did, the work that I performed. I can generate the report, and you see here the report is automatically also attaching the checklist that I filled in. And again, here I can ask the customer to sign to confirm the time I worked and the travel time to show that everything is right. So this really helps also for making sure there's less complaints, let's say, for invoices. The customer has seen the report on site, they can sign directly, they will get the invoice and the report together, they already see their signature, so it's really much more clear. If there's something wrong, they can directly communicate with the technician to correct it. And it's the whole invoicing process that way will be sped like much faster. So here now it's signed and it's done. I just want to show also another part with connecting with partners, because that's something we really see very important for many end customers, that you don't work with internal employees, but you work with partners. And these partners are usually companies that have their own technicians. So here is like a partner portal where these partners can manage their technicians. They can add new technicians or adjust their skills, their profile. And they can also see here what kind of work they have assigned. So this is now a new partner. He has 5 new jobs assigned. They can go in, accept or reject each job by itself, or they can go to mass accept them. So I can accept them all. Then it jumps to the next part of the Kanban board. And here it's really, usually you would have like one admin or one manager who accepts all the jobs and then assigns them to the different technicians. So here I can then select a different technician and release it to the technician. And all this information is then also played back directly to the dispatching board. So in case the end customer calls and says, hey, where's this technician? The dispatcher knows it's assigned to this partner, it's assigned to this technician, and that's the contact to follow up on. Last but not least, it's also all about the customer feedback. So how to get the customer feedback. Here's one option is customer self-service portal, where the customer can request work, but they can also see the status. So here you see all the different jobs and the status, the workflow that it went through. And if I look at one that is finished, then I will also be asked for the feedback. So I can also say, was the service good or not? I can look here again at the report, and I can provide my direct feedback to the service. Okay. So back to the presentation, just one more part, why SAP, or what do we see, what did our customers see as value, and what are our customer references? So, I mean, all in all, it's really about speeding up the processes. So we have one customer where, I mean, they say it's using one solution and the same processes also overall in different areas in different countries. They have the ability to quickly move technicians from one hub to the other because they already know how it works. Like before, they had this customer had a lot of different software systems, a lot of different ways to work, and then you couldn't just move a technician from even one city to the other, or from Germany to Switzerland or Germany to France, because they had different systems. So that way they can really move technicians around and become much more efficient with the workload. Then also by improving the processes, they saw that 30% faster processing of the operational information because it's all automated and there's one single data source. And as well, especially for the schedulers or the dispatchers, they have 24/7 access to customer and site information. So it's really important to digitize this information to make it available for technicians and for dispatchers. Another customer, Herbiger Holding, they say, like they said, it's a very simple tool, and they have really the potential to maximize the time of customers and minimize travel time. So this is again a little bit to sustainability. Less traveling means a greener planet. It also helps decreasing costs in this case. So if you can plan ahead and you can optimize the planning, the traveling, then you don't have to spend so much time for expensive flights or expensive traveling. You can book maybe cheaper flights, or you don't have to book them at all because you can use the local resources. And what they saw as well, what this customer saw as well, is a 20% increase in efficiency from digitizing the process. And as well, very important is the increased customer satisfaction by making sure that the right and skilled technicians are on customer side. The technicians also are much better prepared. The customer definitely sees this and is also more satisfied. You talk to the right people and not somebody, you don't have the feeling you are talking to some new starters. Then another company, Bosch Rexroth, so they see that like enabling the technicians to see everything at a glance, also being able to create service call reports and dispatchers to be able to track the processes and improve them to really save time and improve productivity. So it's really, in the past, technicians would have to maybe go to the office first to get some information, or they didn't have the information at all. And often as well, it's all about call it first time fix rate. So technicians having to go first to check out what the issue really is, then come back again with the right spare parts, or send somebody else because they are more skilled. So this is really about saving the time by being prepared. And as well, what they saw is more than 60% boost in sales lead generation. So this is what I was also mentioning before, by giving the technicians the tools and the ability to record leads in the system where they see this customer, he would be interested in maybe a replacement or a new service, a better service contract, or a new spare part, or maybe some other product that they also need, just talking to them. And as well, I mean, real-time recording. So as we saw in the mobile app, you directly put in your efforts and generate the report, which is directly sent back to the back office, and the bill can be generated immediately, in comparison to having it recorded somewhere on paper on another system, then somebody else having to type it in, somebody else to check it, a customer again to call that it's not correct. So it's often, we've seen other customers where they say the invoicing process have been speed up from weeks or months to minutes. So that's a really big achievement that also can be seen very quickly in the project. Another customer, Vanchi Energies, they actually have this use case to maintain wind turbines. And for them, it's just like they implemented SAP S/4HANA and also FSM, and it's just 98% reducing time to create the quarterly reports, and really many hours saved per month, and also an optimization interaction with customers by having this digitization with SAP. So now I just want to show here, I mean, you already know the community because you have found this, this community call. I just have here some links also for SAP Field Service Management community. And I just want to highlight as well how important this is to us. Again, here we have many webinars. Also what we show here is the upcoming releases and roadmap in a more detail from the product team. And what I also think is super important is the forum where you can post questions, and we have really many customers and partners who post questions and answer each other, and also our product development teams and support teams who answer the questions there. And as well, if you are already using a solution, or you're thinking about using a solution, or you just have an idea to make a solution better, we all use the influence portal where we allow customers to post ideas, and our product teams, they really look at this, and they try to take all these ideas in as much as they can to give a reply, and also to implement it then in the solution. So now we can go to questions, if there are any.
Thank you, Friederike, for the presentation. I like that last slide, and I like that you already on the previous slide explained and gave all the resources where we can actually ask questions, where we can exchange in the SAP community by writing blog posts, for instance, really sharing our insights, learning from each other, and sharing our knowledge, really. We don't have any questions yet in the Q&A, but I wanted to let everyone know that you can also speak up. So we have that raise hand functionality here in Zoom. When you raise your hand, I can also unmute you, and you can ask Friederike your question directly. Because we have 13 minutes left. So for anyone who has questions with regards to the content that just got shared, there is one from Giorgio. Hi. So Giorgio would like to know and ask, what documents are created in SAP HANA related to operations shown in the demo that you did, Friederike?
So I mean, it's usually depends for the operation, like from the IoT, there would be notifications, and then based on the notifications, if there's many, it would be work orders. And then on the other scenario, from the customer ticketing, it would be service orders that's being created. And I don't know if the question is regarding the way back. So for the recording of the time, that would be usually would be recording in cuts for mileages and effort.
All right. Giorgio, I hope that helps. You can maybe do a thumbs up in the chat if that was helpful. Friederike, is getting dark in Switzerland, right?
Yes,
the background is getting darker for me here.
Yes.
Okay, Giorgio confirmed. Leonard has a question too. So currently you need CPI for C4C and S4HANA service. Will there be changes in the future?
No, I mean, yeah, it's called now integration suite instead of CPI, but otherwise, no, that is the strategy to build on the BTP, the business technology platform. And as part of this, it's the integration suite. So that's what we use for the integration FSM with S4HANA or C4C or Service Cloud. Yes.
Thank you. What I also always like to ask our speakers, really, because when we have time towards the end, and I think that also really helps, can you maybe summarize in a nutshell, really, like in 5 sentences, what got shared in the call today?
In 5 sentences. Okay. Yeah.
You can use more sentences.
So I hope I gave you some insights about the benefits or the challenges that there are out there in the market for manufacturers and service providers, but also the opportunities they have by going digital and digitizing their processes, and how SAP can support you there, or can support our end customers there. So that's the main message I want to bring.
Main message. Perfect. Yannick has a question. Will there be any upcoming integration of an SAP knowledge base with SAP FSM?
At the moment, there's nothing on the roadmap planned, but we are heavily there also looking at what customers are asking for, like influence. So if there are customer requests, I don't see why not, but at the moment we don't have anything on the roadmap.
All right, perfect. Great. And I mean, such upcoming news or any outlook with regards to, in general, really, can also be posted as a blog post in the SAP community. So I guess, Friederike, you're also active in the SAP community. So whenever there is news, then I already sent Friederike's community profile into the chat, so you can all follow her and get informed about new content. And you can also follow the tag because you don't get notified when you follow a community member, but you get notified in the SAP community by following our tags. So whenever there is a blog post published and a specific tag is used, SAP S/4HANA, SAP S/4HANA Cloud, but also I shared it with you already here, the SAP Field Service Management tag, that's the name of our tag. Please follow that tag, ensure that you have your communication settings enabled in your profile, and you get notified whenever there is new content published. All right, maybe one more minute for you guys to give you the opportunity to ask Friederike here now. So we have our expert with us for you to get everything that you want to know ever about field service management solutions from SAP. But if not, of course, you can post that questions in the SAP community. As I mentioned, the replay and also the presentation will be uploaded to our SAP community homepage in our replay list of our community calls. And I knew there was one more question. So Leonard also wants to know, will there be an integration for GEF or similar map solutions coming up?
So we have an integration with Esri. So there's an integration, a standard integration with ArcGIS Online on Esri. And we also have a project-based integration with the offline Esri maps. We are at the moment in discussion with GEF integration. It's nothing yet concrete, but the product teams are working together to look really more on the use cases and what is needed.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, with that being said, I think if there's no more questions, everything is clear to everyone. Thank you all for joining our call today. Thank you for taking your time. Have a great rest of your day or evening. Thank you, Friederike, for taking your time to share those insights with us. I'm sure there will be a lot of replays of that recording on YouTube. I'll see you soon in the SAP community. Take care and bye-bye.
Thank you.